like a lightning bolt. You feel the ground pounding, that might be the coast. Quick like a joke, like to hit when provoked. Don't you doubt that. That's a Jaguar to a house cat. That's an outcast to a whole squadron. If you talking Houston, then we've got a problem. You'll probably get the horns if you mess with the cattle. Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. My name is Sammy Football, your host for this evening. Thank you guys for tuning in on all the platforms. Of course, if you're watching live, make sure you comment to our listeners. Of course, this is our second to last Monday night show. We'll have the post Super Bowl show on Sunday night, and then we will commence Mondays during the off season, or on Sundays, I'm sorry, at 9:30. So for the people that are listening, you can make sure you watch live on those days, and it's on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, inside the AFC South Fan Battle private group, as well as the podcast page. So make sure you follow us there. Oh God. The Twitter is AFSFB, so wanted to go ahead and plug that at the beginning for those of you that like to trail off at the end. For the Colts, we have Chris Jackson.
In the words of a great philosopher, it was never the Jags, you ignorant.
Wise words of Jason Hartman.
Jason, RIP, Jason. Jason, everyone now knows that I made you rage quit. You can't come back to the group, and I hope you hear this, and I hope you want to come back, and you're never coming back. You were in your feelings so fast, and I hope that you hate it. Your tears are delicious to me. I love it.
Representing,
come back with a burner that says Hasten Jartman, like we're not gonna know.
Representing the Titans, we have RJ Ellison.
How's everybody doing? You know, I'm about to go ahead and change my name for trade up to get Bryce Young. That's where I'm at right now.
Definitely don't get Stroud. That's what I can say.
Representing the Jaguars, we have Josh Allen, the second best. Woo! Josh Allen.
Nope. I told you the other one's in Kentucky in the offseason. So I am now officially the first best, the best Josh Allen in Jacksonville until training camp starts.
Because the other Josh Allen didn't look that good.
And representing the Texans, we have Matt Briggs.
What up?
That's it.
I'm just trying to see how many times I can interrupt Sam while she's going through the introductions. It's cool today.
So far, it's a lot. So
Well, I mean, Sam's having a hard enough time not interrupting herself.
That is facts. I'm tired. I can't even.
She's like, listen, I only had a half Arbor missed. Okay, I'm not great.
Definitely nobody's putting her performance tonight up on a pedestal. That's for sure.
I mean, it's the off season. Does anybody care at this point? None of us are playing. The Colts are about to hire Jeff Saturday.
I see what you did there, Josh Allen.
A pedal stool.
Pedal stool.
Yeah,
okay, so
yes, a pedal stool.
So for those that listen and aren't in the group, number one, if you're listening, you need to be in our group, because if you're listening, I don't know why
the AFC South
you're
Fan
not.
Battle group on Facebook. But let me tell you, you idiots, answer the questions. There are membership questions. They're not that hard. If you are dumb and you don't answer those questions, I will personally reject your application to be in the group. Don't be dumb, but join the group.
Well, that being said, there's like inside jokes. This group has been going on. That's like the reason that this podcast came to fruition. Okay. And so there's certain things, somebody's a noob, like you say facts. We say FACKS, facts. And then somebody will correct you and say, no, it's and spell facts correctly. Or the Super Bowl is supper babble. That was one. So this week we had a guy who got so upset. And I don't even
know what he was talking about.
He said you're trying to put your team up on a pedal stool. It's like, wait.
Yeah, he said you're trying to put your team on a pedal stool instead of a pedestal. So then this man came so hard to correct everybody that he actually meant pedal stool.
He got roasted in the original post. And then he went to like some 1860s version of Webster's dictionary.
Yes, hold on. Sit ass showdown. That was one of them, because somebody made a Titans fan made a mask that said it was supposed to say sit your ass down, but the way it read, it was sit ass showdown. Man.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, go ahead. He found an 1800s.
Yeah, so he went to some 1860s version of the Webster's Dictionary and found something that was an actual pedal stool and like tried to pass it off. Like that's what he was trying to say in his original post.
Yeah,
and it just made it worse.
The best part was I remember somebody going, "Please don't be a Jags fan. Please don't be a Jags fan."
I think all the
comments.
fans are like that. Like, yeah, please don't be. Please.
And
That's my first thought every time someone does something stupid in that group. I'm like, please don't be.
To be
don't
fair,
be one
it's
of mine.
usually Colts fans.
Nope. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Nah, the Jaguars are officially the new stupid.
Listen, there was such an influx of Jags fans that came in that at this point it's just like basically based on numbers alone, it's going to be a Jags fan.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
listen.
you're correct, but nobody will ever top our what was her name? Arena and the Marine. Nobody's ever going to top.
Oh, what
their
was his
stupidity.
name?
It's RJ's fault though. RJ kept poking at the Jags fans and saying, "Y'all don't ever post anything, and you're not around here in the office." So it's RJ's fault that these idiots, because the idiots that were in the group then started inviting their idiot friends, and now we just have this influx of morons, and it's RJ's fault.
And
the Jaguars are nothing but like cockroaches, man. Like y'all reproduce like rapid fire, man.
Man.
I actually went to one of the Jaguars groups and I searched the name of the group, and I saw where people had done like call to actions. But to be fair, that's how I became part of this group, when it was very little baby before the original group got taken down. So, hey, this, it's going to be an interesting offseason is all I can say. It's going to be an interesting offseason. But let's get to the good stuff first. We obviously are, the conference championships happened. We have the Eagles and the Chiefs playing. Who would have saw it coming? Just kidding. Everybody saw that coming.
The NFL script writers, that's who.
Yeah. Congratulations to the referees. It's funny to me how after every single playoff game thus far, NFL rigged the refs and NFL refs trends on Twitter every time.
Every single one.
We'll do just a quick thing about this and move on. How do you guys feel about that game with the blown third down and all that? We'll start.
I don't think I've ever seen a more blatant them stepping in and doing a thing because they didn't like the outcome as that third down. I've never seen it. It's just insane to me. It's insane.
Yeah. How did you feel, Chris? I know that don't you coach football?
Yeah.
And I know RJ, you played, right?
Yeah, I did.
So as people who played football and who coached the game, was that necessary? I know the NFL rules are different, but
yeah. I mean, the same thing kind of happened to us when we went to Kansas City. Like, I mean, I've been saying it all season. Like, man, Kansas City been getting some favorable calls. It's just been kind of going their way. But I mean, they want Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, then by all means, they want him in the Super Bowl. It's the way this game has been going. It just seems like if you have a quarterback that the media loves, they're gonna put you in the Super Bowl. They're gonna make you win games.
And it was the same when the Jags played, right? They called a roughing the passer on the Jaguars, and then next drive?
You seen the foolery when y'all went up there, man. They were calling some dumb stuff, even though we were laughing about it. Like, we were like, look at them blaming the refs. Like, nah, they were calling some bad stuff, man, in y'all favor. And it's simply
even on that run that Mahomes had where he got tackled out of bounds, there were 3 holds. 3 of their linemen had the Cincinnati defenders wrapped around the neck, and it's also the calls they make, but it's the ones that they sort of like,
they missed. And then
you look at that's the bad thing. That's the bad thing about the refs. Period. Like, they don't call the holds at all. It seems like, unless it's a crucial. Like, almost every play that you look, you can see somebody holding. And it was just like,
Gabriel Rua said they also hit Burrow late with a no call. They were all over the receivers. I thought it was BS, and that seems to be the general. Yep. I mean, most of the people commenting. The only people that I see commenting that are defending it are Chiefs fans, because of course. Yeah.
The Chiefs fans are the new Patriot fans. They're just obnoxious, and they don't.
Listen. I said this earlier. Somebody was saying, and I've said it. Mahomes is the new Brady. Okay, but listen, Mahomes also comes with an annoying ass wife and brother, so it makes it way worse.
Yeah, Mahomes is good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Mahomes is the best quarterback playing the game right now.
And he's a lot better
people
person
talk
than
about
Tom Brady too.
Yeah, as a human being, I like Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, there's not a whole lot to dislike about him on or off the field. I don't think the NFL is rigged. I think the NFL purposely disadvantages teams that it doesn't want to see make it to certain levels, and maybe and because I don't think you can rig a game where there's so many people involved and it's such a random bounces of the ball and like just happenstance that happens in the games. I don't think you can rig it, but the NFL certainly can make you. If you're the Colts or the Jaguars or the Titans trying to fight against these big market teams and these stories that the NFL wants. They certainly seem to disadvantage the teams that they're not fond of.
Yeah. You know what? And another thing that you'll see, like, especially for the game being as close as it was, even with all like the calls, the penalties, whatever, the Chiefs really just got bailed out by Joseph Osai with that one, that one push off with Mahomes. Because if that doesn't happen, I don't think that game swings the way that they're looking for. But I mean, that is basically what they needed in order for that game to just be like, okay, we're going to be able to get out of here. Because I mean, the Bengals, even with all the pass, because I mean, they had terrible calls. They showed one like towards the end of the game. I think it was in like the last 2 minutes of the game. Joe Burrow was called for intentional grounding, but then they literally
same play.
Pat Mahomes did the exact same thing, exact same spot, and they called nothing. And it's just like, like you're looking like you're the line judges.
I believe like it's not rigged for a certain team to win, but I do believe it's rigged. Like, how is the best? Chris said this all the time. Patrick Mahomes is the only elite quarterback in the whole NFL. So how a guy who's driving about to score a touchdown all of a sudden lose the ball? I mean, come on. I mean, that fumble was ridiculous. I mean, if come on, man. That no way should a quarterback lose the ball like that, especially it not raining, not snowing, and you're driving like you're about to win. I mean, they want it so. To me, I think they want it so close for the ratings, for the drama, because the whole Burrowhead and the mayor of Cincinnati. Talking all that.
One thing's for sure, Cincinnati. They ran their mouth so much. They got
stupid.
Humbled.
Yeah, they definitely got humbled. I'm glad they did.
They were like me.
Trash for about 2 years now.
They were like me on the AFC South fan battle page on Facebook when the Jags were down.
In my opinion, the Chiefs do that the right way. They run their mouth when they win, right? When they and I think it's different, like fans running their mouths before a game, but like when you're a player and I've never played in the NFL. I don't know, but I could imagine if I'm Patrick Mahomes and I hear the Bengals calling it Burrowhead, I'm those players on that cheap team. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, give me a little extra motivation. Yeah. I would imagine it fires you up a little bit, at least more maybe than you were before. But like,
I'm
it just
not
seems foolish.
Then you got the mayor also coming out and saying that Burrow needs to take a maternity test so he can see these Patrick Mahomes' father.
Like, to me, that was disrespectful.
They were getting out of hand with it, man.
That's what I'm not a big Travis Kelce fan just because my old lady has like a man crush on him, but I love what he said. If nobody saw it, like he said, he told him that you need to know your role and shut your mouth, jabroni. So I love he brought the rock out in them. So,
but I mean, I understand like the Bengals and Chiefs history, but at the same time, it's just like the Chiefs is the one team where even if you beat them before, you can't take them lightly just living off the laurels of the last time, because they're a team that have more than one way to make you pay. Like, you would never think that losing Tyreek Hill at the beginning of the season, they're just like, oh yeah, no, the Chiefs are going to be out of it, and then the AFC West is going to be a dogfight. The Chiefs were at the top. The other three teams were just fighting for scraps.
Yeah, remember it was Miami in the 80s
because of Pat Mahomes. I mean, he's that dude. So
well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think it was the Dolphins in the 80s that had the no-name defense. Well, the Chiefs are literally trotting out there the no-name wide receivers, like those people you've never heard of before. Like, I mean, Valdez-Scantling, I guess, is a name that might be a little bit familiar, but for the most part, these are dudes you've never heard of. And I think one way that Patrick Mahomes is just like Tom Brady is you don't want to make him angry, and you don't want to give him extra motivation to come out and embarrass you, because 2 weeks in a row, Patrick Mahomes on one leg has looked better than every other quarterback in the league, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just
And plus they both had one of the best coaches of all time in Andy Reid and Bill Belichick. I mean, Andy Reid,
for sure.
He's a mastermind behind all of it. So.
Yeah. And not just that, but you're not going to, he's so even keel. It's just like he doesn't sweat. He doesn't show that pressure. Like he's a guy where it's just like he leads by example. Because, I mean, even when you see like Travis Kelce on a podcast, it would be very easy for him to talk trash, but he's not going to. He's just going to do what he's going to do on the field. And you know that Pat Mahomes is going to go to Travis Kelce, and the only thing that you can do is possibly hope to slow him down because you're not going to stop Travis Kelce.
No.
All right. Well, listen, who cares about those losers? Winners. Let's move on to the Colts. Jeff Saturday had a second interview. What's going on with the coach hunt, and is there any updates besides
he wasn't the only one that had a second interview. When you say it like that, you make it seem like he was like the solo second interview.
But isn't that bad?
I mean,
that he had a second interview.
So the thing is it does it look bad? Yes. Is it bad? No, because at the end of the day, the only reason why he's getting that second interview is because of Irsay with his involvement. But the thing now is Irsay's daughter, Chris Ballard, like basically management is just like, all right, we know that you want Saturday in there, so we'll give him a second interview. But I mean, you have other people coming in. I think Callahan has his interview tomorrow, right? And that'll be his second interview, the OC from the Bengals. So, I mean, right now it's just like it just looks like they're letting Irsay just go ahead and just do like those interviews, just go ahead and have him in. But no, it's not gonna. No, I'm not worried about that. Jeff Saturday will not be the head coach.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Is this new that they're interviewing coaches prior to their season being over? Because wasn't there a
prior to
rule?
the season being over?
There was a rule, I think, like 2 years ago, but they revised that where you can interview them during the playoffs, but you can't second interview them until they're knocked out or until the 30th of January.
I feel like this is the most second interviews I've heard teams have it. Like all the teams that are starting like doing the. I don't know. I don't feel like I remember people talking about all these second interviews for head coaches in the past, but maybe I just am misremembering. But
so the thing, I guess the only reason why is just because, like I said, it's just so much more in terms of social media and what's reported. Because now it's like you have certain people who are trusted sources, but now it seems like everybody's kind of a trusted source except for Adam Schefter. But I mean, as it goes right now,
it's kind of like if somebody sees a potential coach, like at Burger King or something, they'll be like, oh, like I remember Byron Leftwich when the Jaguars were on the when the Jaguars were looking for a head coach and Byron Leftwich had come back into Jacksonville and everyone was like, oh my God, I just saw him at Applebee's or something, like.
I heard that Bill Cowher is looking at real estate in Indianapolis.
Well, I mean, good luck with the move, but I don't know what the hell that means for the Colts.
But the only bad thing is when Jacksonville fans saw Urban Meyer at the bar finger popping assholes, he really did become the coach,
Jesus.
So.
No, you guys don't remember that? Right, for the 2 or 3 years right after Bill Cowher went into broadcasting, anytime a team was looking for a new coach, the rumor was always like, "Oh, Bill Cowher's looking at property and whatever." Even though it was never true. Like I don't think he ever really interviewed seriously for a job after he left the Steelers.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I'm going to read this comment real quick.
And I'm going to answer right after.
VT says, if you guys end up with Jeff as your head coach, I will laugh for 6 days straight from Monday to Saturday.
I'm with it. 100%. I support that.
And Gabriel Ruiz says, first question I'd ask, have you ever blown a 33-point lead?
That's top-notch commenting from both VT and Gabriel.
I got a question for you, Chris.
Well, go ahead, because I'll take all the questions at one time or answer them all at one time. Go ahead.
So what coach do you want? That's what coach do you want?
Okay.
Saturday.
All right. So going in order, VT, I'll laugh too. Matter of fact, make it 7 days straight. Just go ahead, just get it all out the way. For Gabe Ruiz, yeah, we blew a 33-point lead, but I wouldn't blow a 7-3 division lead after week 10. So let's just not do that. So
I think what Gabriel was saying is that's the first question he'd ask Jeff Saturday in the coaching search. I think is what he was saying.
No.
So,
well, listen,
tell me about the time you blew a 33-point lead.
Yeah, because that's definitely not. But I mean, as far as I go right now, I mean, I wanted Ben Johnson, but he went back to Detroit. So right now, it's just like my top 2 candidates are probably Raheem Morris and Brian Callahan. Because I think
Sam, I would like to request we need to get a sound bite of Ashton Kutcher's burn from that 70 show for moments like this. So that was a great burn.
That was a good burn. Burn.
Yeah.
You ain't had to put my team in it, man. I wouldn't even. I'm over here trying to be non-violent.
Tell you the truth, Chris. The guy I do not want y'all to get is Mike Kafka. I think Mike Kafka to the Colts would be scary, and I don't want that at all.
The thing is, I like Kafka, but he's one of those people that it's just like I think, he seems to me like he's either going to be really good or he's going to be a terrible bust. He looked fantastic. It looked good for the Giants, but to me, he looks like one of those people who wouldn't be able to necessarily possibly translate. That's the only thing that scares me about him, because the thing is now it's just like you don't want to end up in a situation where you have another bad head coach, and then that's going to potentially set you back for years.
Oh, we call that jaguaring around here. Yes.
We don't have jaguaring.
Andrew Reid's tree, man, is so rich. So I mean, it's hard to be Matt Nagy is really the only one that failed, and that's you can argue that with the GM picking Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes. So
yeah, that was stupid.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Well, is there anything else to add before we move on?
I mean, other than that, I think the only other thing is that shout out to AJ Brown. He's going to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's just like
we'll get the AJ Brown on my thing, man.
We need that soundbite.
Since every Titans fan I know is all of a sudden an Eagles fan, it's crazy.
Yeah, they're just oh yeah, I'm rooting for AJ Brown. Just be like, you cursed his name. You said he was an awful human being.
Josh, I really need to
get to it on my end. We'll get
to it on but anyways, man, shout out AJ Brown, man. He had the highest yards he ever had the highest amount of money he ever had. He got John Robinson fired. I mean, it's just like that man, he hit the trifecta this year.
I actually tweeted congratulations to AJ Brown. Proof that one player can completely demolish a franchise.
He really did, though.
All right. Well, listen. Before we dive into that, it's a pretty good segue. We have to break some breaking news for the Titans fans.
I got you.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Hellman's is going out of business.
R.I.P. I mean, y'all base your color scheme, your logo, everything on the Hellman's brand, man. The Titans are in trouble, man. They're gonna have to rebrand.
I guess it's just a burn Titan show. That's what it is.
Listen, after all the smack you guys talk, don't you think you deserve it? This is another observation from the group, real quick. I find it so funny that. So now it's Jaguars fans. Jaguars fans were ultra silent for a very long time. And, I mean, with reason, because what did they have to say, right? So now the Jaguars fans are coming out and they're being super loud. The Titans fans have always been super loud. Last season, it was just all we had to hear was bickering back and forth between the Colts and the Titans, right? The Texans are silent, and they have been. And somebody made a comment about how we need to sit down with them, but really in the last 10 years, the Texans have more division titles than all of us. We're all tied for 2, and the Texans have all the rest of them. So I find it a little ironic that the Texans are so quiet, but hey, it's okay.
So that's gonna be the next Jaguars. How out of nowhere,
right?
Didn't even realize there was that many of them in the group.
Yeah, they're gonna get real vocal when they bring Bill O'Brien back.
So AJ Brown leaves the Titans, and not only did he take down the GM, and the entire team, but also Hellman's. I mean, we can thank AJ Brown. He probably tanked the Hellmans too. All the AJ Brown Hellmans fans probably went to Philadelphia. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss of Hellman's mayonnaise. I know Morocco on the Titans Coliseum is a big Kraft mayonnaise fan, so that could have been it too, because Morocco's buying bulk of Kraft mayo. But
real.
Listen, Gabriel Ruiz says diva.
I said, man,
About AJ Brown.
You wrong, man.
All right,
Gabriel, say that without crying, please.
Yeah.
All right.
Dry your tears.
All right, RJ, give us an update. What's going on with the Titans?
All right. Let me make it a couple moves. I mean, well, look, first, since we're on the topic, let me go ahead and give my AJ Brown speech. I mean, hey, we didn't know what was going on behind the scenes with AJ Brown. We didn't realize that it was really John Robinson just screwing this man over. But it really was. It was really just John Robinson screwing him over and underpaying him the money he was supposed to get. He was Miss Amy literally told J Rob to pay him $20 million to up to the $24 million in incentives. J Rob, this dumbass, decided to give him $16 million up to $20 million in incentives. Like, he literally tried to lowball him. So when he was doing all this crazy stuff, we didn't even realize that it was John Robinson that was just sitting there lowballing him the whole time. So when he's acting the way that he's acting, is because he's not getting the money that he deserves to get paid. So for now, I'm cheering for AJ Brown.
So you're saying he's not a diva?
No, he's not a diva. AJ Brown was right the whole entire time. He even said it. You guys are gonna see that it isn't my fault. You know, like I said, at the end of the day,
could be wrong. I think it was Haris. It could be Chris, but I think both of us. I think it was Chris. I think we were saying it was J Rob that was screwing over AJ Brown. We all seen it. The Titans
the problem is
wouldn't see it for some reason.
The NFL is a closed market, right? Yeah. So they basically know what everybody's getting paid based on production, right? So you know, AJ Brown knows that I'm producing at this level, and everybody else producing at this level is making X amount of dollars. And it's a calculation of like, I should be in that range. Exactly. So you know, the arrogance of you know, John Robinson, because really what it was, he wanted to see if he could get a discount on AJ Brown, or maybe at the same time he thought that like, oh, they didn't really need him anyway. He wasn't really all that valuable, and they could survive without him. Well,
I mean, to be fair, that's what a lot of the Titans fans are saying too. When the trade happened, they were all saying,
but listen, I get Titans fans.
I was upset because you remember I came up on this show the literally the you know what I'm saying, what happened next, and I was like, dude, that was a dumb trade. Like, you know, I like Traylon Burks, I liked him coming out of the draft, but I still thought it was a dumb trade. Did AJ Brown to me was invaluable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, dude, like, why would we get rid of our best receiver that we've had, you know what I'm saying, since I've been watching the Titans? And it's like, that was dumb. You know, I don't care if Traylon Burks is probably not going to be better than him. You know what I'm saying? He'll be good, but he's probably not going to be better than him. Like,
well, and you don't know, right? Like, because playing in the NFL is so different. It's
also the fact that, remember that, you know, when Christian Kirk reset the wide receiver market, of course you're sitting there looking at it, just be like, he at least has higher numbers than Christian Kirk, and he was making what, 18 mil a year. So it's just like, at the very least, it's just like you're thinking, okay, well, you know what, give this man 20 mil a year, maybe added some extra incentives so that number gets pumped up. And then you saw that he signed for 22 in Philly, and then he got like extra bonus money. But it's like, you couldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, go back to Titans fans though, like the Jags fans are doing the same thing with Trayvon Walker, right? There's a lot of Jags fans defending that number one pick of Trayvon Walker, and I'm telling you right now, the stats bear it out. Trayvon Walker was not the best person. He was not the best player in the draft, and he should not have been the number one draft pick last year. He did not perform at that level, and in fact, cost the team 2 games at least with bonehead penalties. And people say, "Oh, well, he's a rookie. Of course, he's going to make mistakes." Mistakes are one thing. Losing your cool and costing your team games is another thing that you cannot have if you're the number one pick in the draft. So fans are going to put their blinders on and try to defend the team to an extent. But I still, if I catch some of y'all wearing AJ Brown's Eagle jerseys, you know.
I'm not going to go all the way to doing that. But I'm going to learn to appreciate AJ Brown now that I know the real story.
Yeah. I will say this about the AJ Brown trade. I'm so glad the Titans did it, so that way people can forget about the DeAndre Hopkins trade. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I just remember during the draft just being like, what? I can't
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
being a Titans fan.
You should have told me. I could barely make it through the draft. Like everybody was calling me like, dude, like, what are y'all doing? I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't understand why we traded him. Like, that was stupid, you know.
Hey, Sam. Would you mind putting up the next comment from Gabriel Ruiz so I can absolutely destroy him? Because it's just like he's going, yeah, this one, one,
And
and
says,
like,
it says, hold on before you comment.
Mhm.
Gabriel's comment says he lowballed AJ expecting a counteroffer, but he said F you and left us.
So, like, is he talking about J-Rob because he got fired, or is he talking about AJ because he literally got traded? He got traded. He didn't leave. He got traded. Like, what are we?
Yeah,
talking
he didn't
about?
leave.
He
got traded.
didn't leave. Like, you can't leave when you're literally still like having to be under contract. He was still under contract, looking for an extension.
J-Rob just handled that whole thing. It seemed like in a disrespectful way.
That's the thing. He got fired because of that. Like, he was doing stuff on his own without even consulting Miss Amy. Like, he didn't even talk with Vrabel about trading him. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was all him. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
Vrabel was pissed.
You could tell he was visibly upset.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
Like, it
upset.
wasn't a team thing. Like, he just said, "No, I'm trading AJ Brown because I can't pay him the money that he wants to pay him." In reality, he lowballed him and didn't tell nobody that he lowballed him. And it was like,
And Gabriel said, from what I understand, he declined any talks. But I feel
he got
like after
lowballed. He
after
disrespected him.
Yeah, he got disrespected, and after
that's like anybody. Like, if I go to work and they're like, "Oh no, I know you produce at $28 an hour, but we're only gonna pay you $13 an hour." I'm not staying there. Like, come on, guys. Like, don't be mad at the guy.
I would imagine
when you put in your work, man, you know what I'm saying? You prove
Right.
you're proving at that workspace. You're supposed to get paid what you're supposed to get paid, man. They tried to lowball you. If
Matt's
Christian
over
Kirk
here
getting paid $20 million, why would you pay him $16 million? That doesn't make any sense. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Matt's over here giving commentary when they gave up DeAndre Hopkins just because he had too many baby mamas.
At least we
had bag of Skittles, man.
Yeah, that was dumb. I ain't gonna lie, that was dumb. That was just dumb as we did us.
Hey, at least our players can see the field and don't get fat and get out of shape and don't see the field at all. So,
he's talking about trailing In-N-Out Burger Burks.
The hamburger.
We just had a long season, man. That's all this was.
It is a long season, but the
Listen,
line he was there for that.
Yeah, it's almost like the second J-Rob got fired, everything imploded. But I mean,
it was imploding.
For the
it
best.
Just fully imploded at that time.
Yeah.
Well, when you see Eagles fans flipping off John Robinson, I think that was kind of writing on the wall. Like, yeah, it's time to fire that guy.
The Jaguars
he got fired right after AJ Brown tore us up.
The Jaguars were destiny, man. It was always the Jags. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, is there anything else to add, RJ?
Yeah, I can. Since we off the AJ Brown topic, I can go ahead and talk about. I mean, it seems like Mike Redd was really, really intrigued with the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, he really wants either Matt Nagy or Eric Bieniemy really bad, and if not, we're probably gonna just promote Tim Kelly from within. I'm banking Tim Kelly because I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know what they're gonna try to do with this offense.
What is it with Bieniemy? There's a lot of people that interview him, but they don't necessarily hire him.
His past. He has a very.
He's on the Chiefs. That's why.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people. Doug Peterson was on the Chiefs. Mike Kafka, who's getting. I mean, there's a lot of people. Matt Nagy. But he has a checkered past, and I think he is, from what I hear, he's arrogant and just, he expects the world. And
he doesn't. Him and Mahomes don't get along, right?
Hate each other.
Yeah.
They hate each other.
I'd much rather get Nagy. I'll be cool with Nagy because I know I've seen what he's done with Mr. Trubisky, and if he actually makes him look good for 1 year, I think he can. You know what I'm saying? Do something with our offense. It's better than tied down, and I'll tell you that much. He's the worst.
I can tell you right now, you do not want Tim Kelly.
Yeah.
No, I don't want Tim Kelly. I'm talking about Matt Nagy.
I know. I'm telling you. Said you can promote Tim Kelly. Don't go there.
No. I'm calling Tim Kelly. That's what I'm saying. I'm calling Tim Kelly because you people are gonna we ain't got no receivers, so it's like outside of Burks. And I don't think who gonna want to come. What offensive corner gonna want to come here and deal with Ryan Tannehill throwing to nobody? You feel me? So
Yeah.
The weird thing about Eric Bieniemy and all the rumors of him being so arrogant, like, I just look up his stats. The dude had like 1,500 total yards or something. Like, I remember him being better than that, but like apparently he was not all that great when he played. Like, just wow.
He played quarterback.
They played running back. He was a running back.
He was running back.
Yeah, so he had like 1,500 rushing yards, 1,200 receiving yards, and like kickoff return yards. But that's just wild. Wow.
Man, it's better than Rand Carthon's stats. I was looking at his stats. I was like, man, he didn't do nothing in the league.
Well, we look forward to hearing more commentary, once we get closer to the draft. And, best of luck to you on your new Mayo search. So. No. Look, I'm good. I think we're in good hands now, man. I really like Rand Carthon. I think Rand Carthon is going to get us on the hot. So we're going to see. We're going to see. Yeah.
Just
He's
sit
going to
back.
lock down. He's going to lock down the Duke's sponsorship.
But like I said,
I heard he's in
you
talks
see
with,
what my name is, man. I trade up for Bryce Young, man. We not getting out this AFC with no to Ryan Tannehill, man. Trade up for Bryce Young.
No.
I heard that the Titans are in talks with all.
Nah, man, that's y'all. Y'all getting Will Levis.
That's perfect fit. He puts mayo in his coffee. He puts mayo in his coffee. You only do that, man.
Will Levis is like the ultimate bust. Like, if you know, like, whoever get him, you're getting a bust. I promise you. He's gonna bust.
Will Levis is Blaine Gabbert, 2.0.
Yeah, that dude is trash, dude. He is trash.
He's literally like the combination of Jake Locker and Blaine Gabbert together.
Well, speaking of trash, Texans.
Hey!
Damn.
And the second with division championships. It's all right. I get it. I'm still hating. It's all right.
Like a decade ago, right? Like a couple decades ago, y'all had a few.
Bro, 3 years ago. Come on now. I know
2
you're
years
a
ago.
Jags fan and you know new to this, but
Yeah,
That's
remember
that's-
3 years ago before their entire team got traded away or
Yeah.
completely imploded,
before
or
we pulled the
visited
Titans.
massage parlors,
Yeah.
or
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Y'all need,
I think you guys also
everybody
hold the
team to
record.
mess up
Yeah.
before so that want to get on top.
Exactly.
I think you guys also
Yeah,
hold the
you know
record for
teams
sexual
screwing up when the
misconduct
Jazz get on
lawsuits.
top.
Oh yeah, no, so yeah.
all right, Matt, give us the latest. What's up?
D'Amico Ryans, head coach. Pretty much done deal. I can hear it either tonight or in the morning. So I'm ready for it. I'm just wondering who the OC and the DC is going to be. I hope it's somebody from Kyle Shanahan's tree. So
Wow. That's sad news for you guys, considering how his defense played on Sunday.
yeah, I mean that was terrible. One game. Oh man,
Undisciplined, man. Real undisciplined. Yeah.
right.
I mean, it makes me happy. I'm glad you guys are hiring him. Things gonna be
Yeah,
terrible.
me too.
Dude,
Number one
listen,
defense in 2 years. I'll take it.
that's the thing. Like, people talk about Jaguars having a fluke. The fluke was the Purdy taking the 49ers to the NFC Championship.
Don't
That
you
was like
dare.
the most Blake Bortles thing ever.
Well, I mean that just helps D'Amico Ryan's case. Like it was the defense that carried them to,
Yeah.
where they were, and Kyle Shanahan's offense just masked Brock Purdy's talent, and we found out what happened. I mean,
Maybe if he was a good defensive coordinator, his defense would have scored enough points to win that game.
Didn't they
It's
play
all
Christian
struggling,
McCaffrey as quarterback
saying.
yesterday too?
well, I mean,
at one point they did,
Josh, you act like the Eagles just ran all over. They only had like 269 total yards. The only reason why they
I
had
just saw a lot of penalties, man. A lot of undisciplined. plays,
the only
a lot of-
reason why they had 31 points was because 3-time turnovers were in their 20 yards.
If being good in the regular season and then choking, in the playoffs is what you guys want, then I think D'Amico Ryans is the right guy for the job.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I didn't know defense throws the ball, catches the ball, and runs the ball. I thought,
You play to win the game. That's all I can tell you.
Well, I mean, so Matt, not even so on a serious note though, because the thing is, I think also D'Amico Ryans is a great candidate, but I mean, realistically, how long do you guys need before you can get a defense similar to what he did? Because mind you, he has a lot of great players on that defense, and then he's going to a team where.
well, hold
I mean,
on.
I can name Stingley
You're
and
right.
Petrie.
You're right. He does have a lot, but they also had a lot of injuries. Bosa was out hurt most of the year. Fred Warner was hurt most of the year. Their corners were hurt. Like he has some good players, but they're out. That's why I like D'Amico, because he still produced a great defense with a lot of injuries with backups. So I take him.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, we were top 8 in pass defense. The only thing we sucked at was running. We were ranked 32.
Well, but that's because you guys,
couple,
your quarterbacks were putting stickum on their gloves, cheating. That's why you guys are good at passing.
You're right. Yeah. You need to take lessons from Silver Alert Grandpa there, Chris Remington, on trolling, because, man, you suck.
Man, you seem pretty upset right now. So,
are you guys driving Will Levis too? Are y'all gonna drive little Will Levis? Because I'm trying to figure out which AFC South team gonna get.
We're getting Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, Jimmy Garoppolo.
We're getting Jimmy G.
If y'all get Jimmy G, I will be the happiest person.
I don't think
he is trash.
Well, in all seriousness, and not trolling you, like, what do you want your team to do at quarterback once you get Ryan's and his staff?
Caleb Williams.
Honestly, I would love Caleb Williams, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think if we pick up like Derek Carr, which is a possibility.
What? Why?
Derek Carr's not that bad quarterback.
Yeah.
Josh
So
McDaniels,
you don't like any of them two prospects. You don't like Bryce Young.
Josh McDaniels is a terrible.
David
OC.
Carr is just big lots Aaron Rodgers, man. Like, he's not
big lots.
I mean, Derek Carr, he's trash. Okay, and
come on, man. He was 5th in MVP last year, and then Josh McDaniels came and fell apart. Like,
so it's the coach.
Would you be willing to suffer through another season like you had this year to get Caleb?
I would, but I don't think it would happen because, like I said, we're only a couple of players away on defense to make.
Yeah, you guys don't know how to tank correctly anyway. That's
right. You're exactly right. And like I said about the Texans and Jaguars, we're the only 2 teams in the whole division who were in almost every game. We only had like 2 blowouts this whole season.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're far away from a rebuild. We're almost there. We just need the right pieces. But I wouldn't mind
wide receivers,
but
linebackers, just cornerbacks.
So you don't believe that your franchise is going to get it?
We got a guy who was top 10 in sacks. Where was the number?
I really enjoyed giving you a hard time tonight, Matt. You're a good sport.
So you don't believe your franchise is going to draft C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young? That's what you're saying.
I can see. Would I be upset with it? No, but
I'd be upset if my team drafted C.J. Stroud.
Why not draft a prospect and pick up a vet? I mean, you're just going to throw the rookie out.
Yeah, go with that. Just go with that. Go with that. That's somebody who's been
pick up Jimmy G, man.
Over the years.
I mean, look.
Somebody said, I think it was Christopher Rumpkin said Trey Lance.
I mean, I wouldn't mind giving up a 4th round for Trey Lance. I mean, you don't know what you got in him. A 4th round for him, I would take it. But I mean, look what the Chiefs did with Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you can't just throw a rookie out there and think he's going to be the next sliced bread. Trevor Lawrence.
I feel like the big danger for your team. Yeah, I feel like the big danger for your team is them doing something stupid and not taking a quarterback, and then you guys are just good enough that you get like the number 12 pick next year, and you realize you do need a quarterback, and then you're not in a spot to actually get.
Well, we still got.
You mean like the Titans?
Yeah. Well, the Jags have been in that spot. That's happened to the Jags before too, where like it's like, oh, okay, we should have.
I get what you're saying.
Not done what we did.
I get what you're saying, but we also got 2 draft picks next year. So if we do need to trade up
in the first
we
round,
got 2. Yeah, we got 2.
I didn't know that. Okay, all right.
We can trade up, and plus, Deshaun Watson still be besides high, and going out there getting his booty hole rubbed, he might suck next year. So we could have a top pick in the draft from the Browns.
The Browns, they might still Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, they might pull a Browns. You never know. So it is the Cleveland Browns I'm talking about.
What you're saying is that the Texans' future still is at the mercy of Deshaun Watson's butt.
Like always, sir. Like always. Speaking of booty popping buttholes.
Well, do you have anything else to add, Matt?
D'Amico Ryans, that's it. Come on home.
All right. Well, we'll anticipate that news in the next.
One more thing. J.J. Watt tweeted a picture of him and D'Amico Ryans, and the speculations is J.J. Watt's going to be the defensive line coach.
That would be awesome. Bring him back in. Yeah.
I take it.
Well,
Also, so your son can get to his jersey.
Shut up.
Yes.
Sensitive subject, Chris.
Until Watt dies of a heart attack, in the preseason, getting all amped up.
Damn.
Oh,
Got dark quick.
Oh, that went really dark. That was. Jesus.
I'm just worried about his safety, man. I'm concerned for JJ Watt. That's all.
All right. Well, Josh, you have to make this very quick. Jaguars. I know there's not a lot to update.
Jaguars and Kings, the AFC South. The big hurdle facing the Jaguars in the offseason is going to be the salary cap, right? So a lot of free agents coming up off that team. Arden Key, Juwan Taylor, a couple other guys. Evan Ingram was on a 1 year prove it deal. Salary cap is going up, I think, like 16 point something million. So that's going to help. I think they're going to cut Shaq Griffin, which is going to get them $11 or $12 million off the top. I would prefer, there's a couple guys that they could restructure. They're going to have to navigate that. And then it's really, what do you do with the first round draft pick that we have? I believe they're going to have to go defense again because clearly
So how do you feel about Jalen Ramsey tweeting about how much he loves the Jaguars?
Jalen,
and all the fans calling to bring him back.
Speaking of divas, AJ Brown is not a diva. Jalen Ramsey 100% is a diva. Dude was done wrong to an extent by Tom Coughlin. I can't. The problem with Jalen is that I don't think that Jalen has the guts to stick it out when things don't go well, right? So every NFL season, even when your team is doing well, has rough patches. I don't think that Jalen Ramsey is a dude that handles adversity well. I don't want that sort of mindset to creep into this team because that's the one thing you can say about the Jaguars. Performance was up and down in certain areas, but they handle adversity well. They don't blink. They don't flinch. They don't always, dig themselves out of the holes like they didn't, with Kansas City last week. But I don't want Jalen Ramsey. I think Jalen Ramsey has a bad attitude when he doesn't get exactly what he wants every time he wants it, and I don't want that on my team. It seems like they have a group of people who have good attitudes and are bought in and want to be there. And I would prefer someone like Jalen Ramsey stay far, far away from my football team forever.
You know what also makes it a little bit dangerous with Jalen Ramsey now? It seems like it's just like the Rams went to LA. He went out there. It's just like they got the new stadium. They got new everything. Now you're seeing him in all the commercials. You're seeing him in all the podcasts. He has a Super Bowl ring, and of course he's just like he's making the money. So it's just like anything that he's doing from here, like, yeah, he's gonna perform, but I can see him just becoming more of a brand than he is an athlete. And I think
Jalen's in it for Jalen, and I don't blame him for that. Like, Jalen's in it for Jalen. I don't blame him for that. He's also the sort of dude that when he gets bored with something, like, he just sort of quits on it. Like, that's just what he is. Like, I mean, he's done it in games before. It looks like he's just bored and he just decides he's not going to. The last player that used to do that was Deion Sanders, but I think Deion Sanders is in a different stratosphere. Deion Sanders could turn his talent off for a play and then still end up dominating the game, even when he's aggravated and look bored in certain spots. Jalen Ramsey, as good as he's been, has never been, Jalen Ramsey is trying to be, Deion Sanders 2.0, right? Yeah. His whole attitude, the way the stunts that he pulled, where he pulled up in a Briggs, armored car with like bags of money and stuff in it. He's trying to have the flashiness of Deion when he doesn't quite have the skill set to back it up. The reason that Deion Sanders got away with all that stuff is because every single time Deion Sanders stepped on the field, the man proved it with his performance. So you couldn't really, you didn't have a whole lot to say to him to tell him to knock it off. Where Jalen didn't have that. I don't want Jalen to come back. They've got, so just to sum it up, because Sam wanted me to be short, the worst performing unit on the Jaguars this season was the defensive line in terms of pass rush. They were fine against the run. They had games where they weren't good, but overall, you look at their season stats and they were fine. They were terrible in terms of generating pressure and sacks on the quarterback, which then turned into them being terrible and generating turnovers. So I think they're going to have to address the unit that puts pressure on the quarterback. They've got to be able to create pressure and sacks with their front four, right? And they already run this weird two down linemen, 4 linebacker scheme. We got more linebackers than we have wide receivers on the team. So what I would like to see the Jaguars do in the offseason is navigate the salary cap and then also address the pass rush. I don't care how they do it. I don't know what they got to figure out. But next year they've got to put quarterbacks on their butts a a lot more than they did this year. And first and foremost, among that is Josh Allen. A lot of Jags fans clamoring for Josh Allen to be like re-signed and his deal to be done. I don't think he's earned it. Sorry, I don't think you've earned it yet, bud. I just, you can't look at his stats and look at the elite pass rushers. Look at that dude. What's that guy? Chris Jones, the guy for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Josh Allen wants Chris Jones money, but he's given me, he's given me a unique Ngakoue performance, which is fine. Like it's not terrible, but it ain't elite.
I will say though, this is the time that you guys are gonna find out about your GM. You're gonna find out if he's a good GM or he is in a bad GM. Just like we found out in our offseason if that J-Rob isn't it, So, and another thing is, what are you guys' expectations for next year with the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, why do you say you guys, sir? I'm a non-biased.
Oh man, yeah, I gotta hear yours too. Yeah, hear yours too.
I think anything less than winning the division next year is not successful. When you get into the playoffs, it's a whole different ball game, right? Like people want to guarantee Super Bowls or say you got to win a certain amount of playoff games or whatever. I just think either winning the division or getting it a wild card berth into the playoffs. Making the playoffs next year has to be the bare minimum that this team accomplishes. Anything else will be looked at as a step back. And if they don't do it, like that's on them, right? Like. I get why people say the jury's out because the Jags will have a good year and then they'll go back to having, successive not good years. I'm just telling you, having watched this team since I moved to Jacksonville in '96 and followed them closely, this is the first time that it feels like the coaching, the front office to an extent. We will find out more about Balky, but just the way the organization is being run top to bottom feels like an actual professional top-tier football team at this point. And if they can continue that, I think they're going to be better than they have ever been. For longer than they've ever been.
Yeah, you guys most definitely need to stack 2 good seasons in a row because you guys have never done that. So
that's not true. We absolutely
non-biased.
We stacked 4 good seasons in a row. The second through 5th years of the franchise, but since the Mark Brunell days, since the inception of the franchise, we have not had consecutive successful seasons in the league. And I believe that it's more likely than not that they will do that, but there are things they're going to have to navigate.
You guys actually have a good quarterback now, so it makes sense that you guys should have back-to-back good seasons. So
Christopher Remington believes that Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback. So
non-bias off, the Jaguars will go to the Super Bowl in the next 3 years, and I agree. I'm tired of people saying that our season was a fluke.
Basketball's so strong.
Hey, like I said, as a Tennessee Vols fan, I've been hearing that all off season too. That it was a fluke. So I know exactly what you guys are going to.
I think whether or not they're going to go, I don't know. I think it feels more possible than it's ever felt that they might end up making it to a Super Bowl. Right? That's not a guarantee. I'm just saying it feels more possible than ever. Than I can ever remember it feeling. So
it will happen. Okay.
I'm glad
Anyways, listen. Does anybody else have anything else to add? Too bad you can't. Chris Jackson, where do we find you? Talk about your podcast and where do we find you on social media, sir?
Yes, You Don't Know Jack podcast. We are on Tuesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're doing 9:30 officially now, just so that we can be in synchronicity with everybody else. So. And then you can find me. Yes. Synchronicity, yes, exactly. I can spell
I like that word.
You're welcome. But you can find me at CJ Colts fan on Twitter and at YDKJC podcast for the podcast page.
Awesome. RJ, where do we find you?
You can find me on Twitter. You can follow us. Our podcast is on Thursdays. I don't know why it ain't on the thing down here. But
I need to update it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's Titus Coliseum podcast, me, Firestone, and Morocco. We do big things on this show. So
including paying up bets.
Yeah, paying up bets and having guests and having good guests on the show. You know what I'm saying? We try to do it all, try to have fun on there. Also, you can find me on Twitter at the RJ Show. It's scrolling at the bottom right there, and trade up for Bryce Young.
Matt.
You can find me at A1 Day 1 Texans. And, of course, the Texans Fan Battle at Wednesdays, 9:30 Eastern. Wednesdays starting off our Black History Month special. So check out the guests. We're going to have some special guests for a special month. So make sure to check it out.
And Josh Allen.
Josh gives up on Twitter. You can find me on the Jaguar. Sometimes Tuesdays, sometimes Thursdays. And soon, I'll drop a little nugget there. We're soon going to branch out, and we might have some additional Jaguar related content on the network. So keep your eyes peeled.
Word.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SammyFootball with an I, as well as on the Jaguar on Tuesdays or Thursdays at 9:30 when Josh Allen invites me. So make sure you tune in there, and make sure you follow us all. The network is Fan Battle Sports on Twitter, and the AFC South podcast is AFC SFB. That stands for AFC South Fan Battle.
Can you say that again, Sam?
Yep.
AFC SFB. I finally have figured it out after 5 years. I can say it without hesitation. And yeah, we thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks after the Super Bowl.